entertainmentbuddha.com.
Hey now, everyone! We are back, and by we, you know who I'm talking about. It's not the mouse in my pocket. It is my homeboy down in Texas, about ready to get overtaken by some sort of Category 4 storm, so hopefully that doesn't happen. And you know who we're talking about, and that is Nick Caminita, and I'm Matt Haywood, and we are back with a brand new episode of Entertainment Buddha's Star Wars Time. That's right, people. It's been a while. Nick and I had to take our vacations. Don't worry. We geeked out. We did our Star Wars thing. I took pictures of toys, and they were Star Wars toys. I'm sure Nick did something Star Wars related too. Maybe not taking pics, but I'm sure he found a way to appreciate the Star Wars universe while he was taking a break. Anyways, we're back. We're here to talk about a few key news items that have popped up for the Star Wars movie universe, mostly revolving around Star Wars: The Last Jedi, but some other stuff, a little tidbit on the Han Solo movie that some people think may spread into The Last Jedi or beyond, or the characters involved. You never know. That's why we're here. We're here to debunk the bullshit. We're here to tell you the truth because we are tapped into the Force. Right, Nick?
Oh yeah, baby. We're always into the Force. We're connected. As Yoda said on Dagobah, we're all connected through the Force. We're ready to go. Let's do this.
Midichlorians 9999.
Highest ever.
All right, buddy. So, like I said, I mean, they're really, in the time we've been off since our last cast, which the last cast, I believe we were talking about all the leaks and the mostly the Snoke leak. And that was great stuff, by the way. And I still can't wait to get paid off in the movie, but nothing major has come out. No new trailers, no TV spots, no posters, nothing official. I mean, obviously we had that's what it was. It was the Entertainment Weekly run that we covered last, which, as even the director said himself, like, hey, I can't stop this, people. It's going to happen, so I am recommending you avoid this type of stuff, and there's going to be more, but it was great, right, Nick? I mean, as much as you and I mean, I know deep down we'd love to go in with literally a blank slate, but in the end, we can't do that, can we?
It's too hard, man, just to know that the information's out there. I mean, when we see Star Wars news pop up, we have to read it. Like you said, we're hardcore, we're lifers. We would love to go into these movies 100% not knowing anything and then be surprised and have the magic of film play out in front of our eyes. But I mean, we talk to you guys every 2 weeks. We talk about the news. We talk about all the good stuff out there for Star Wars fans. And you know, that's what we got to do. We got to read it. And even though it might not be the best way to go into a movie, it's still fun for us.
I think,
to be able to
I mean,
find all this stuff.
I think in the end, it's a combination of the two. I mean, I think being a Star Wars fan, you almost have to get into this stuff, like the peeking, you know, looking under the cover. But then, because when you see it, there's the potential for A, it to pay off to what you had in your mind, or B, maybe to let you down. But in the end, it's the fun of the waiting and the yearning and the wanting to see the movie. And really, I think deep down, we just need to fill in the gaps between the lore. I mean, I know as well as myself that when you left The Force Awakens, you're going like, fuck, I need to know more about how Maz got the lightsaber. I need to know more about this Snoke guy. I need to know more about why Luke's doing what Luke's doing. I need to know more about Kylo, right? I mean, that's the type of people we are. That's how much we love this shit. We want to know it all. So it is very hard to stay away from this stuff, but that's why we're here for you. We'll be your buffer. I mean, if you don't want to see it directly, we'll see it for you. And we'll give you warnings when it's coming down, but we're going to talk about it regardless. So, Nick, the first thing I want to get into is there was I think a story last week of, and honestly, being so much into collectibles as I am, dude, there's been a lot of leaks. I mean, Walmart, even last week, they were already putting out the Last Jedi toys. Yeah, they're just like, fuck street dates. Yeah, they're like, fuck street dates.
Wow, yeah, that's a little dangerous there. I mean, Disney might jump right on their case for putting out something like that. I mean, toys are a huge indicator of, what's going to be in these upcoming films. And we see that in this case with some dialogue leaks about or from Supreme Leader Snoke in a BB-8 playset. And these two dialogue, pieces that we hear from this playset are pretty significant, especially considering the events that we expect to unfold in this movie. So the first line that is spoken by Snoke in this little BB-8 toy is, "I have been expecting you." So let's break that one down a little bit.
I mean, is that not Palpatine-esque to the fuck?
I mean, you can picture it like him sitting in like his throne or chair,
chilling,
Yeah.
Just like Palpatine, lean back, like gangster leaned in some throne chair. Like, yeah, I knew you were coming. I'm fucking Snoke.
I mean, just that it just has that all-knowing, all-powerful Sith dark side Force master feel to it.
So before we even go into the next line, and I know we already were touching on this offline, who's he saying it to? Like take it to the bank. Do your take it to the bank, and then maybe two other possibles.
My take it to the bank is Luke, because I feel like that, like, they're gonna meet, and that is a line that he would say to Luke, like, even after all the time you've spent trying to hide yourself from the galaxy, I knew you were coming. I mean, just how much would that mess with Luke's mind? Because, I mean, that's what he did. He exiled himself from the galaxy, from everybody, to remove himself from all possibility of the dark side, messing with his head or trying to come after him or anything. And then he finally, comes back into the fold. He goes after Snoke, and the first thing Snoke says to him is, "I have been expecting you." Like, that would just be such a badass line to drop on him.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to disagree to that line. It really is. But if I just try to wrap my head around the BB-8 playset, will Luke be centrally involved with BB-8 in some form or fashion?
That's a good. I didn't even think about that.
So
that's such a good point.
With that being said, could it be Leia? Could it be Poe? Could it be Finn? Could it be Rose, like Resistance style? Because we know BB-8, as far as we know from the trailer, he's with Poe. We also know that Poe is going to be heavily involved with Leia. I mean, could this possibly be Leia meeting with Snoke, and maybe this is her send-off? I don't know. I mean, I could be reading way too into the BB-8 playset. But I just feel like if you're going to have it called a BB-8 playset and you're going to have Snoke dialogue, that's implying that BB-8's probably involved. And are we really going to see BB-8 with Luke in any capacity that they'd be rolling into the Snoke confrontation together?
Dude. I mean, like, I didn't even think about that kind of link, BB-8 being able to hear the line being spoken, and that's why it's added into it, the playset for it. And if that's the case, I mean, like you said, we've been hearing a lot about this, emotional send-off that we're going to get for Leia in Episode 8, and maybe it is. Maybe it is her that's, got this showdown with Snoke or this meeting with Snoke somehow, and then one thing leads to another and she gets herself captured or something happens to her, and, that's where her story wraps up for 8. That's a great point. And then also, like you said, with Poe, we know for a fact that Poe is hanging with BB-8. We saw it in the trailer, so it's very possible that, like, Poe is going on some sort of mission, like to infiltrate a base or trying to do some damage to the First Order, and gets captured, or he finds himself face to face with Snoke somehow. And then, bam, Snoke.
Well, even if we now factor in the second line, which we haven't said yet, which is the Resistance is doomed, it almost makes even more sense that he's talking to someone that has been centrally involved with the Resistance. which you can't even include Luke into that, right? I mean, Luke has not been involved in the Resistance, period.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But I mean, like, I guess for that line for me,
Or is it just like head, the good guys are fucked? Like,
yeah, that's kind of the way I was thinking about it. If it was Luke, like, you know, Snoke knows that Leia is, a general, the leader of the Resistance, and he knows that, Luke is Leia's brother. So to drop that line on him wouldn't be like, meaningless to him. Obviously, Luke has, even if he's not as, invested in the light as he was when he was, a younger Jedi in Return in Episode 6, he's still more than likely not pulling for the First Order to come out on top in this war. So I still think that, that line could have some significance to him.
But doesn't it have even more impact if it's right to General Leia, the leader of the Resistance?
Yeah, I mean, definitely so. And that would just be,
it'd be nuts. It'd be nuts to see her in that capacity. Because, I mean, in the end, as much as we all love Leia, George pretty much made her a secondary player in the movies, right? I mean, Leia never really had a major hero moment like Han would have had, or Luke. So it would be odd to see her in that type of major situation.
But then again, like that line that she tells to Han in Episode 7, it was Snoke. He was the one. He was messing with Ben since he was a child. So like
they know each other. They know of each other. Like yeah. I mean,
she has this huge grievance, this massive reason to go after him. Like not just to stand by on the sidelines and hope that he goes down, but to physically go after him.
If you think about it, all the bullshit they're feeding us, like she's going to have this epic journey. I mean, what's more epic than Leia going on a mission and confronting Snoke?
That would be, I mean, like you said, that would be like her biggest hero moment in the entire saga, and that's such an odd thing to say because she's been such a central character. But it would be.
Yeah, I almost feel like I can formulate a piece out of this. I'm starting to catch on to something here, I think.
Yeah, I think you have a really good opinion, speculation.
Note taken.
Very good option there for you. And I mean, in terms of my, not taking it to the bank ones, it could definitely be Rey. I feel like it, that
I even thought Kylo was a possibility.
I mean, it could be. I mean, we've talked about the possibility of him switching back to the light.
He doesn't even have to. The lines still work if he is on Snoke's side. Look, I mean, just read them. The lines still work.
Yeah, they do. Definitely. If he's feeling, maybe Kylo goes to him, a little bit down, like, look, this isn't going the way that we planned. And then, Snoke says, the Resistance is doomed. Okay? Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's a good guy, but, I mean, the dialogue doesn't discount or doesn't eliminate Kylo.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like you said, I think Luke, Kylo, Rey, and now I really think, Leia or possibly Poe, but he's an outlier to me.
Yeah, I mean, you really convinced me that, this is probably Leia. I mean, that was some solid logic behind that that pick.
Dude, I mean, like I said at the beginning of the cast, we're in tune with this shit. We got middies flowing through this blood.
True. So yeah, I mean, that was the big thing.
It's crazy what toys can fuck up, isn't it?
I know, right?
Hilarious.
I mean, and then people don't think about it either. I mean, obviously these toys have to be made far in advance of the movie release just to line up with the release. The movie comes out, all the toys are on the shelf, so those things are in production for a while.
Well, they make a point in this article that the same thing happened for TFA, where, this came out where there was dialogue for a Kylo Ren toy, and the dialogue was straight up in the movie.
Yeah, that weapon belongs to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's pointing at the lightsaber. So, I mean, it's a great point. I mean, more than likely we will see, or hear these lines in The Force Awakens. Now we just have to wait to see exactly who he's speaking them to.
I love it. I love this type of shit. Like this stuff, I can kind of get behind because it is still kind of cryptic, but it allows you to just kind of go a little wild with your own theories.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so another thing came up since the last time we talked, and again, it was a recording, a voiceover, a voice recording. And this comes from the new Disney theme parks where they're adding, all these Star Wars attractions. I don't know which park was this, Nick? Was this a Florida or Cali Disney?
I believe it was Florida. The
Okay.
Florida park, yeah.
But essentially, what's going on here is they have an attraction now where what is it? They have a replica of the Force tree we've seen from the Last Jedi trailers.
Yeah, so we all know that this Force tree is something that's going to play a pretty big central role, at least in the first probably act and a half or 2 acts of The Last Jedi. And apparently they're building a replica of this for the theme parks. And visitors, have been able to walk through it. Some people, some behind the scenes Disney people, some, I guess you would say, entertainment people with cachet have been able to see this, and they've reported that within this Force tree they can hear voiceovers from Star Wars characters. 2 of them are Yoda, and the other one is Anakin Skywalker. And it's a pretty big thing to have, pretty big reveal to have in this Force tree, considering we've had no indication at all that Anakin Skywalker was going to be making another appearance in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the fact that Hayden just finally came out of hiding and attended Celebration this year, I mean, that's the only thing that I think kind of got a little buzz going around, like, why? It's kind of curious timing that he's coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I think when we had our Celebration cast, we talked about it a good bit. Just, Hayden kind of being out of the spotlight. He kind of hid himself away from the Hollywood for a while after, not directly after episode 3 wrapped up, but shortly thereafter, and then never really has come out for anybody to see in a major way. And then he makes this appearance at Star Wars Celebration this year, and it kicked up a lot of speculation, like, are we going to see him in, possibly in episode 8? And now with this reveal that we have the voice of Anakin Skywalker in this Force tree in the new Disney theme parks, that's a pretty big indication that it could be something that's included in the movie. And it also gives, the hint that Yoda's voice is also heard in there. But we obviously had that revealed during the trailer. But, I mean, they didn't say the specific line or anything like that, or any dialogue that was heard from Anakin. So there was no tip-off there. But just the fact that you can hear his voice, and the voice is Hayden Christensen's voice.
Do you think he says something about sand?
I still don't like sand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like, Luke, you picked a good island with no sand.
Perfect line right there. I think it's big. But I mean, just anything from him, though. I mean, like, we don't. I want it,
like we said earlier. I there's a part of me now that does feel bad for Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, I think we have to.
I mean, I think when he first probably learned the news that he's going to be Anakin, he's probably like, I've literally won the Powerball. Like, that lady just won $350 million cash. It probably feels like that, especially if you appreciate Star Wars and you love it and you grew up with it. And then the prequels happen and he does his 2 movies, and he's pretty much universally hated as a Star Wars character and actor. And Hollywood has essentially killed his career.
See, like, at this point, I think it would just be doing a disservice to, 1, Star Wars fans, and 2, to the greater Star Wars universe story to try to hide him away anymore. Not
no,
I
agree. It's just a shame because we've talked about it a million times, but there's so many issues with the prequels and the stories that George tried to tell. It's just no one would have been successful in that role.
No, I mean, you could have had.
Yeah,
I mean,
you could have found the picture perfect Anakin actor, and he still would have come off as a jerk off.
yeah, I mean, there were rumors. I don't know if these were confirmed rumors or anything like that, but one of the early casting choices for Anakin Skywalker for the prequels was Leonardo DiCaprio. Apparently, I mean, this has been.
You know,
there.
if that would have happened, Leo would have never won his Oscar and never have made any of the movies we've seen him in the past 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, because like you said, I don't think that any caliber of actor could have brought that role to life or given any more life to that role than Hayden did. I mean, we saw, and we've mentioned this many times, I mean, like, Natalie Portman is literally an Oscar winner, played Padme, and it was just flat. And it wasn't flat because of her, it was flat because of the director, because of the directing and the writing. And I mean,
well, she's another one. I mean, she hasn't touched the universe with a 10-foot pole.
No, I'm pretty sure she's not going to either.
She never will. I mean, she's like, fuck, I escaped it. I'm good.
Yeah, like she was able to come out, like, but yeah, I mean, she was able to come out clean and continue her career on. But like, it's crazy how much, like you were about to say, like Ewan McGregor still embraces this universe, even though
and he gets roles, but it's not like he's the main guy in movies. Like Ewan has never turned into like the seller, you know, the guy or the girl that they hire not only because they're good at what they do, but to sell the movie. Like Tom Cruise. Let's face it, he's one of the best movie sellers out there still. I mean, a Tom Cruise movie, most people are gonna be like, I'm gonna go see it just because Tom Cruise is in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But I felt like Ewan could have been that type of guy, and it just never happened. And I don't know if that's Star Wars related or what, but he just never achieved that either. So
yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, he does have an odd taste in the films that he likes to do. You know, I mean, like, he's not your typical, like, he's not like
fucking Train Spotting. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I would say Train Spotting 2. I mean, those are both movies that...
And he's awesome.
Yeah, they're incredible movies, but they're not movies that are built to make $100 million, $200 million.
Right, exactly.
But he does. He is that caliber of actor where he could take a role and he could sail along and lead a film. But yeah, I mean, we've never really seen him have that opportunity.
No one's given him that chance, and it's like, was that Star Wars' fault? I don't know. I mean, I just always felt like he could materialize into that type of actor, but he didn't.
Yeah.
But either way, I think that kind of leads into our main discussion point tonight, and that is the strong rumor that a Obi-Wan Kenobi standalone is in the works.
Yeah, I mean, this is almost a little bit more than a rumor. The title, this was a Hollywood Reporter exclusive when it came out about a little less than 10 days ago, about 8 days ago last week. Oscar-nominated filmmaker Stephen Daldry is in early talks for the standalone Obi-Wan Kenobi picture.
But no earliest stages, no script. So.
Yeah, no script, you know, nothing like that. So this hasn't been in the works for a long time. This isn't like the Han Solo movie, which was like, you know, they pretty much fired that up as soon as the deal went through. Like, they were ready to go on that one. This one is literally in the earliest stages of development talks. So, but I mean, like, this is more than we've ever had. I mean, like, there has been an outcry for Obi-Wan Kenobi standalone film for a while now, for at least a few months of uproarious internet, you know, people just screaming about it.
I mean, dude, to you, is this not right under Darth Vader standalone?
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean, in terms of something I would want to see, I think it's Vader, Obi, Yoda.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the Obi standalone there's just so much information there that we don't know about. Obviously, you have the comics, you have the...
Well, right there, one of the if you see in the left sidebar, I mean, the article we're looking at, for those of you that aren't, you know, obviously on the internet while you're listening, But there is, dude. I mean, there's figures of him in his desert gear where he still has like some clone armor on and this like this half hood robe vest thing. I mean, he looks like a fucking pimp. He's got like a bow staff. I mean, he just looks like a goddamn hermit survivor. And I want to know what he's been up to, because in the comics, you know, like people would come and fuck with him. I think Boba Fett came and fuck with him. I mean, Vader never knew exactly where he was, but they always knew there was something going on this fucking backwater Tatooine, and somehow people were always coming to fuck with him.
Yeah, and I mean, we've also had the episode of Star Wars Rebels where you had Darth Maul go there with the ultimate showdown with Obi-Wan. I mean, this is older Obi-Wan Kenobi at that point in Rebels.
We're not going to see that. I'm assuming we might see 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Dude, I don't even think you would go that far, honestly. I think you would... I don't know if you would pick up immediately, but I would pick up, like, 2 years, 1 year.
Well, because I think... You're right. I think it could span a long time. I think, in fact, it should span a long time, because I think what you're going for is, well, let's get right into it. So, like, he's avoiding all the Jedi witch hunts, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
where the heat's still hot on the Jedi that have escaped, which they know is Kenobi and Yoda and some other outliers.
Exactly, and also Obi-Wan did not know that Anakin was alive when he first made it to Tatooine. Like, he thought he was dead.
Right.
And then I don't remember if this was an old EU story or if this was somehow incorporated into the new canon, but, like, he finds out that Anakin is alive watching, like, the HoloNet in a bar on Tatooine. And you have to imagine that when that moment happens, like, his mind kicks into high gear. He's like, all right, I have to do something. I can't just sit on this planet. I have to figure out something. What can I do? Can I rally? Are there survivors, like you said? You know, is he trying to get the remaining Jedi together?
Or it's even just like, something? My mission now is 1,000 times more important.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my mission to make sure that his spawn materializes into what he should have been. That's everything now. Like, it was everything before, but now it literally is everything, because this fucker's alive, and I know how strong he is, and I cannot fail Luke.
Exactly. I mean, there's just so much good stuff. And then, like you said, you start off there, and then you kind of break it into years, you know? You might not
because,
do the whole
we want to see,
year.
I think we want to see an adolescent Luke, right? Kind of like that snippet we got in Rebels, where, you know, Luke was probably closer to his teens, you know, approaching where we saw him in A New Hope. But I'm talking like an 8-year-old Luke, you know, something like that, or you know, Obi strolls through the Lars farm.
Yeah.
And we see him act with Uncle Owen, who fucking hates him and, you know, probably yells at him or some shit like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it would also be interesting to see what kind of involvement Obi had in the Beru's life,
because
Beru and then Uncle
because
Owen.
Luke knows old Ben. I mean, it's not like in A New Hope when they run into each other. He's like, "Who the fuck are you?" He's like, "Fuck yeah, hey old Ben, we're looking for you." Like,
exactly.
he's known of this character known as Old Ben, so there's good chance that Kenobi was visiting the Lars farm. And interacting with young Luke and Owen and Beru as just like some dude living in the deserts of Tatooine.
Yeah, I mean, I would have, especially in the very early stages of Luke's life when he was still a toddler and still an infant. Like, you know, you have this, what is basically the only hope for the galaxy. You have to ensure that this child lives. There's no problems with him. I would imagine that Obi had regular check-ins at the farm, talked to Beru and Owen for a while, just like stressing the importance of this child's life. Like, look, this may not be your baby. This may not be your responsibility, or at least in your mind, but you have to understand how important Luke is and how important it is that you make sure that he's kept as safe as possible. So I think there's a lot of interactions with that family in particular that we would benefit from seeing.
I mean, hell, we know for a fact he physically hands him off,
Yeah, we see that in the end of the movie.
So they all know each other, and we also know by episode 4 that Owen does not like Obi-Wan, does not trust him, thinks he's an old madman, and basically blames him for what happened to Anakin.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, to see that relationship kind of sour would be cool. I mean, there's just so many moments in his life. I mean, in that 20-year period that we haven't seen yet, that really hasn't been covered, that I think could be just incredibly valuable to know about. And I mean, don't you imagine, like, he has to leave Tatooine at some point, right? Like, he can't just sit there the whole time. Like, he's gotta get
Ah, man,
crazy.
he does hate being in a spaceship.
He does, but I just, like, if I was him and I'm on Tatooine, I know Luke is there. At some point, especially early on, like within the first year or two, it's not that I'm just going away to go. Something has to happen where I would feel like I need to do something. I can't just sit here. This all of this is happening around me. I'm a Jedi master. I have to be like, maybe there's something I can do. And then like he gets on a ship and he goes somewhere and he tries to rally survivors, or he tries to strike against, a vulnerable target or something like that. Like, just to see his mental state and, see how he acts in those early times of his exile, just to see how he does. Does he make a trip to Dagobah and try to talk to Yoda? I mean, that's another thing that we've never really known about.
Right. Yeah, I mean, what were these two doing?
Yeah, I mean, we know that they were probably communing through the Force with each other, and then Obi-Wan was also communing with Qui-Gon. But do they meet up? Do Yoda and, Obi-Wan go to some bar somewhere sometime and just to, shoot the shit? How's it going in the swamp? How's it going in the desert?
Were they communicating through the Force?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shit that could be
I'm all for it.
So yeah, I mean, still, like we said, early stages, very early stages, but to have an Oscar-nominated filmmaker already kind of showing interest in this movie in the very early stages is pretty good. And then obviously, I mean, like, I don't even think this is a question, but like, Ewan McGregor is obviously coming back as Obi. There's no, nothing could change that, right?
Well, yeah, they'd be foolish not to. I mean, he's picture perfect, has already done it, knows how to sword fight, knows how to act like Alec Guinness. I mean, he's perfectly suited. He's probably more perfect than any other actor for any of these standalone films being considered.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I mean, we know that he wants to do it. Like, he's been one of the most vocal proponents for it. I mean, even going
well,
on to the
I think deep
shows.
down he wants another crack. He knows the role he had, and he knows he's cemented in Star Wars. I mean, Christ, in his family, it's par being in the family. I mean, his uncle is fucking Wedge.
Yeah. So,
so he's like, my uncle Wedge has a better Star Wars legacy than me, and I'm fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
yeah.
So I think he wants another crack at the character and the role.
For sure. And I mean, he deserves it. If there's anybody from the original trilogy of films, or not the original trilogy, from the prequel trilogy, that deserves another shot at that character, it's him. It's Ewan McGregor. I mean, Ian McDermott's had his time in the original trilogy as the Emperor. He obviously came back for the prequels as well.
And he was great in all of them. But
yeah,
again,
he was really good.
He was given a shit script too. I mean, in Revenge of the Sith, some of the acting during the Mace battle is like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
what am I watching here? What is this? Is this like a stage play?
Dude, it was so funny. I remember watching the behind the scenes on that scene in particular, and George was saying, like, we could have done it like we did Christopher Lee in the beginning of the movie, where like they had a body stand in and they like superimposed Christopher Lee's face over it, so the fight looked good. And he was like, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to have this be a very intimate battle with close-ups on both of their faces, so you could see how intense it was and all this stuff. And
yeah,
I was like, dude, I can understand the thought process, but like, this is a movie we're talking about here. Visual representation, visual presentation is like key.
Yeah, and we're supposedly watching
The two of the most powerful
the
Force
top
users.
the top
Yeah.
Sith of all time versus what people have considered to be one of the most powerful lightsaber fighters ever in Mace Windu.
Yeah,
Like
and
he
that
had his, I mean, didn't he use like one of the hardest saber styles ever, or like
yeah,
his
I mean, like
own saber style that
his saber style was essentially like it was empowered or embodied the dark side of the Force. Like, so it's like he was using this almost dark side technique as a light side Force user and was never corrupted by it. Which, I mean, yeah, so when you read shit like that, it's like, oh my god, Mace Windu is a badass motherfucker, and then we just never got to see it on film. I mean, like, I just wish that he would have done that fight like they did the fight between Anakin and Count Dooku in the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. It would have done it way more justice.
brother. There's a lot of things we want to wish away about the prequels, but we're just, I mean, they are what they are at this point. I mean, it's something that deep down, if you ever have a kid, you're gonna have to think about it just like I'm thinking about it now. I mean, they have to see them. I don't think it's an option to just negate them completely, especially because of the cartoons that came out of it that are worthwhile and this, that, and the other thing. You need to see them. I mean, the goddamn creator created them. The guy that pulled all this shit out of his ass made those movies. And that's the story we wanted to tell. So as much as we hate them, we still have to honor them as, all right, well, they're canon.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, so just to pivot back, the other two things that were mentioned in this article is that Lucasfilm was also considering Yoda standalone and Boba Fett standalone. So how do you feel about, I mean, you have already said Yoda standalone's
Yeah,
top
and
three.
honestly, Boba Fett would come in right in the top 5 too. They're all the iconic, maybe not mains, but the most important secondaries of the Star Wars universe, easily.
Yeah. So for the Boba Fett standalone, are we going early life Boba Fett? You know, like,
Well, a lot of that's covered in the Clone Wars, and it's done in a great manner. I mean, we learned at Star Wars Celebration there was a scene cut out where we were going to be shown how Boba Fett got the dent in his helmet.
yeah.
You know,
So
he had a duel with Cad Bane, and they basically blast each other, and I think Boba wins because he catches a bullet in his helmet.
see, it's just like it's such an odd thing with the cartoons now. Like you said, you have a lot of that early life covered. So I mean, we don't know how old
Yeah,
Boba
I think
Fett
it
is.
would.
I mean, like,
I
what do you
honestly, I would say
early 20s Boba.
it would be Star Wars Rebels era Boba, so pre Battle of Yavin,
Yeah.
but not too far off. It's really the upstart of the rebellion. I think they could introduce. I mean, we know he's existed for what, at least 15 years up until that point, right? Because what is it from 3 to 4? Is it 18 years? Luke's age, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
however old Luke is, so I think it's 19
Yeah,
years.
18,
Yeah.
19. So that would put Boba at about almost 30.
30, yeah, right around there.
And I think it would be an interesting backdrop for a story. You know, the rebellion starting to rise, the Imperial is really laying down its arm on everyone's throats. And where does a bounty hunter come in all this? You know, especially
Yeah,
one that's been wronged by the Jedi.
Yeah,
And who
exactly.
obviously has a beef with the Jedi, like probably a very deep hatred.
I think that there's a lot of period or a lot of, good things in that period that's still undiscovered. I mean, like you said, Rebels is going on.
Well, they showed how he gets into it. I mean, he's essentially rescued by
Aura Singh, right?
Yeah, Aura Singh. Literally takes him under her wing, and she brings him in the fold with a bunch of other bounty hunters, you know.
Yep. So We have the entrance into the bounty
Yeah,
hunter
so
career
I think they should skip that he's a bounty hunter. I
Yeah.
really think it should move into dude's got his fucking armor, dude's doing what dude does, become known as one of the baddest ass bounty hunters in the galaxy.
Do we get like, if that movie is made, do we get a Han Solo back in it, and then like he's on a mission, like he's trying to go after Han?
Yeah,
You
no,
think that
I
be a
could
possibility?
totally see, and especially if it falls in that era we just talked about, at that point the bounty is on Han's head, pretty much,
Oh
right?
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, we don't know exactly when he dumped the shipment from Jabba, and that's when
Yeah, I
everybody
mean
started
that's why
going after
Greedo
him.
shakes him down, like, yo,
Yeah,
bro.
exactly.
I mean,
It's whenever that was pre-4. We don't know how long pre-4, maybe a year, maybe less. But I mean, around that time period it wouldn't be bad. You just have to consider, like, do you bring Alden back for Han? Does he,
right.
is that your
Yeah, I
Han
mean,
again?
I think you're right. I could see them totally being a main focus because do you not get the sense, as lightly as Boba is used in the original trilogy, do you not get the sense that he has this burning desire to take Han down? Like he wants to capture Han. I mean, the whole reason he gets into the deal with Vader is like, yeah, sure, I want the motherfucker. I'll do whatever you need. I want fucking Han.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Does
the
he really
dude.
want the money? Does he really want the money, or is there some sort of personal beef there?
I think at some point, like, we know he doesn't need the money. Like, his money is made.
Yeah,
Like, he
I
doesn't.
agree. I think that's what I mean. I think you're dead on. I think maybe we see something where we fully understand why Boba is so committed to capturing Han and getting the bounty
Yeah.
when we meet him in the originals.
See, and there was something in the old EU. There was Boba Fett played a pretty big role in some of the old EU books, especially the later ones. And at one point, he's having a conversation with somebody, and they ask him about the money. He's like, "I haven't needed money for years. I pick my jobs based off of what I think is going to be challenging or targets that I find to be interesting." So like, that's essentially his motivation. Like, he's not like, maybe early in his career he's like taking every bounty he can just to like build up his stockpile of cash and stuff like that. But at some point he's just like, look, I have money. I have money spread out everywhere that I need it. I take jobs that I want to take now. I don't need to take stuff just to live.
No,
So
I agree. I've always, and even if you watch the cartoons and all that, I've always felt like his motivations are always revenge based and to be the best.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's another thing. I mean, we never get to really see the Mace Windu aspect of this, because that really the person he's got a grudge against is Mace.
Yo, Mace
Because-
Windu's Snoke, dude. So
Yeah, it's true. Forgot about that. So Boba Fett's gonna fucking jetpack into Snoke's palace in Episode 8. Shoot him with the-
like old man Fett rolls in, like he's gonna look like Captain Rex. I mean,
man.
I don't know if you watched all of Rebel season 3, but we run into some of the clones, and they're old men at this point because again they have accelerated
accelerated
growth.
aging.
Yeah, and he was like kind of old and chubby, and I'm just trying to picture Boba rolling in, like his helmet hardly fits on his head. He's all,
Dude, that would be the bring back. I mean, you know as well as I do how many people online are like, we gotta bring Mace Windu back. Gotta bring Mace Windu back. That would be the
even
move to bring him
fucking
back.
George was like, oh yeah, sure, he's alive.
Yeah, he's not dead.
I mean,
not
pretty
that
much
meant anything.
Sam Jackson at this point could say anything to George, and George would be like, sure, Sam, whatever you want. I mean, that's why he has a purple lightsaber, and I still hate that. I hate that he has a purple lightsaber.
Yeah, because that essentially is what threw out the whole color meaning in lightsabers. Sam Jackson was just like, I don't want blue, I don't want green, I want purple. Give me purple. And
Yeah, he's
fucking
like,
George
all right.
just-
Like George was like, okay, I'll sell out for you.
Yeah, it was an odd choice, but if you're gonna bring back Mace, that's the movie to bring him back for, is the Boba Fett movie. Then you have this showdown between Mace and Boba.
Yeah, zombie Mace.
It'd be pretty dope, but So yeah, I think that about wraps it up for the, semi-announced projects for Lucasfilm. I mean, obviously, everybody in the world who's a Star Wars fan hopes that this
Well, we
Obi-Wan Kenobi
know.
thing
I
comes to
mean, we
fruition.
know for a fact that they have a movie slated for
2020.
all the way up to 2020, right? But we
Yeah.
don't know what that is yet. We know Episode 9's 2019,
They
but
didn't yet because they've never announced what the 2020 film is.
right.
But,
So
this has to be it, right?
it's got to be one of them because it would make sense that they would start talking about now. It'd probably start filming sometime in late 18, and there we go.
Yep.
So I mean, if there's juice behind the Obi-Wan stuff, I think we're watching Obi-Wan 2020. But we also know that they said we kind of have plans for 2020 on and beyond too, because why not?
Beyond 2020. Well, I mean, if you kick Obi to 2020, then I think the Obi movie opens up a world of possibilities for others. Just because he's such a linchpin of a character, that there's going to be other key characters that are involved in that film that could have their own spin-offs. So
bro, in the end, we know deep down that Vader could have his own fucking trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of
you
people...
could make Vader standalones for the next 20 years, and people would lose their mind over it.
Oh yeah, I
mean,
mean,
there's so much interesting shit to cover with that guy. Like, what's going on in his head?
Yeah, exactly.
We know he's not a robot. I mean, when we were little, when we watched it, he was sold as a robot, and he kind of comes off as a robot. But we now know he wasn't. So what the fuck's going on in this guy's head? Why is he doing what he's doing? Does he regret the decisions he made? Does he hate himself? Does he hate the Palpatine? I mean, come on.
Yeah, those films...
Why does he keep being an asshole? Why does he keep killing people? I mean, there's so much to explore.
Yeah, I mean, we have the comics. That's pretty much all we have for him, actually, is just the comics to get any kind of insight into it.
And they're great. I mean,
films...
I've heard the Vader standalone is like the best thing ever. Because you're getting into the mind of Vader.
Yeah, I mean, it's the film that needs to happen after what we've seen at the end of, well, not even just at the end, in Rogue One and at the end. I mean, we see him in this Bacta tank. We see him on his castle on Mustafar.
I would have paid $10 to watch the 5 minutes worth of Vader.
Yeah, I mean, his character is so deep, and we haven't even scratched the surface of it yet. So hopefully somebody at Disney listens to the crowds and tries to push that to happen, because that would be... I mean,
it's so obvious to me that that's like, duh. I mean, if we're big enough, if we're gonna do Obi-Wan Kenobi, I mean, you could argue Obi-Wan Kenobi's in more movies than fucking Darth Vader.
You're right about that. He is. I mean, Obi's in 6 up to this point. Darth Vader as a character, only 3.5. So,
right. Well, hell, I mean, you could argue Obi's in 7. His voice appears in fucking Force Awakens, directly speaking to Rey, not just random clips. So, I don't know. I just, for some reason, I don't think they'll ever do a Vader. I think he's like another Lucas sacred cow, but so would Obi-Wan. I don't know, man. I mean, there's so much. They could make up for the sins of the prequels with a solid solo Vader movie. 2 movies, 3 movies would be fantastic. I don't think we'd ever get it, but even one Vader movie would make up for 1999 through 2005.
See, like, a lot of people that I've seen that are arguing against a Vader trilogy, like, everybody's like, oh, we want Vader standalones, and they're all like, well, all the prequels were about Darth Vader.
They're stupid. Then they're the fucking idiots out there. Yeah. They're the idiots that inspired George to do that dumb shit.
And it's, in my mind, the prequels are not about Darth Vader. You have to be able to separate Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker into 2 separate characters.
Yes.
The prequels were about Anakin Skywalker.
Yes.
and then this new, these standalones about Vader would be about Darth Vader.
Yes.
About his experiences, his life, his mindset, because that is a completely separate persona from Anakin Skywalker that we knew in 1 through 3. So that's
what I mean, dude. I mean, do you not want to get inside that person's head? This person who knowingly betrayed everything he stood for, murdered children, basically killed his wife, fought his best friend and lost, and burnt, and lost both his legs and both his arms. I mean, what the fuck is going through this guy's head? I mean, there's got to be so much hate and regret. That's why he picks his castle. He wants to see where he was defeated and ultimately turned into Vader, just to remind himself of the hate he should feel.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally forcing himself to stew in his own
failures.
Right,
because it hurts so bad probably to think about who he used to be and what he used to have. And that, to me, that's everything about Star Wars. Like, if we get that, that's all I ever wanted from the prequels, was to learn more about the man behind the mask. Because he was everything. Darth Vader is Star Wars, whether anyone wants to believe that or not. He is. I mean, everything was about Vader. In the end, Lucas eventually said it. It's all about the Skywalkers, in particular Anakin. And he got fucked in the prequels. And like I said, a single standalone could erase all of that bullshit about this character. Because I don't care what you say. When you see Vader now in episode 4, I guarantee you look at him differently than you did as a kid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as much as you try to just picture him as the menacing, man behind the mask, the robotic killer, you now know what he was like when he was growing up.
He's a pussy, whiny, pussy bitch. I mean, when I see Vader now, I'm like, you quit. You gave up on your values because you're a fucking pussy.
There is redemption. They could definitely redeem his character.
That's it. I mean, when you think about it in the end, nothing tragic happened to this character to make him do what he did. He literally made this decision because he was weak.
Yeah, I mean, basically, he had, his entire decision-making process that led to his downfall was based off of a vision of the future that Yoda straight up told him, don't trust
It's
future
not
vision.
Always true, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that shit it doesn't always come true. The future's cloudy. It's always in flux. Anything can change it.
Or you'll cause it.
That.
And that's what he did. I mean, he caused his own future.
Yeah, so
you can tell this shit fires me up. I could talk for days on the character of Darth Vader and what the tragedy that happened to him with the prequels, because he was cheapened as a villain, especially. I mean, he was like that air of badassery was ripped from him. Because now we know who he is and why he is Vader. And it was the weakest excuse in the world. He was a pussy. A pussy. Weak. Loser. I mean, he's a loser. A whiny loser. Saying, man, Obi-Wan's holding me back. He was a fucking asshole. Fuck Hayden Christensen. I'm going back on everything I said earlier. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, yeah. Let's go. Vader standalones, people.
Vader
real.
2022.
You
Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger, make it happen. All right, so let's move on to the last.
Yeah, just the last little tidbit.
Drop.
Go ahead.
Yeah, last little piece of news we got centers around the Han Solo film. So obviously we have the new director Ron Howard coming in to take the helm on this film, and with the new director comes changes, and one of these changes was a cut of a character that was played by Michael K. Williams. If you've seen The Wire, you know who Michael K. Williams is. He was also in Boardwalk Empire. He's a recognizable face. He played Chalky in Boardwalk Empire. He played Omar in The Wire. So apparently his character was cut from the Han Solo film, and after his character was cut, he revealed a little bit about the film that has yet to be revealed, and it was the name of Emilia Clarke's character. And apparently, in a Vanity Fair article,
That's Dany Targaryen for you people
Yeah.
that don't get that reference.
Daenerys Targaryen, yeah, she's in this movie. Not blonde, I don't think, at least from the set pic that we've seen of her. A link between Han Solo and Amelia's character Kira. So apparently that is her character's name in this film, at least according to Michael K. Williams.
And we saw her as we talked a few casts ago. Remember, we saw them in those leaked pics where they're meeting in this kind of museum type of looking area.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, do you want to talk a little bit about the significance or, the link that was made between her name?
Yeah, because I mean, I honestly, to me, I think that's the only interesting thing in this story. Because in the end, a name's a fucking name, right? I mean, big deal. Her name's Kira. Who gives a shit? But as Nick kind of was giving you a prelude right there, it's not supposedly. I know this for a fact. Rey's initial name was supposed to be Kira or Cura, something like that.
Yeah, so apparently, from the article that I'm reading, on the set of Force Awakens, Rey's character was referred to. This is speculation. This is all like rumors and stuff like that.
No, I actually think Rey as a character's name of Kira was documented in early storyboards, like early aspects of the planning of the movie. Like
okay,
the character Rey was going to be named Kira.
Okay, so that's what it says in this article I'm reading. It says on the set of Force Awakens, Daisy Ridley's character was also referred to as Kira. So we know her name right now is Rey, but the big question around Rey's character is, who is she? Her name might not even be Rey. That's something that we've brought up before in previous casts. Like, Rey is just a name that she was referred to in her time on Jakku.
Yeah. It could be Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It could be, or it could be that her real name is Kira. I mean, we don't know. And
Kira Targaryen.
Kira, who knows? Kira Solo, Kira Skywalker, Kira Snoke. I mean, who the fuck knows? But there's a lot of speculation, early days of Force Awakens, like you said, with the storyboards, her character is referred to as Kira. Apparently on the set, they referred to Daisy Ridley's character as Kira, and there's still some speculation out there that her real name could be Kira. Who knows? But I think at this point, the name of Kira is just never going to stick to her. She's always going to be Rey, even if it is her real name.
Yeah, damn Skippy. So the big beef behind this is, well, if Amelia's character is named Kira and supposedly Rey was going to be Kira, maybe Amelia's Rey's mom.
Yeah, some sort of off the wall,
which makes no sense because we're talking like way back in time.
40 years about, right? Yeah. Around 40 years before, I mean, shit. Okay. So
yeah, and Rey's approaching 20 at least. So I mean, we're talking like, she would have had Rey at 40, 45.
Yeah. So
probably not. Yeah, I'm thinking that's a stretch.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, the article that I'm reading goes on to bring up like every other instance that the name Kira was used in the Star Wars universe. All of them are very obscure. Most of them relegated to, offbeat mentions in comic books or one-off characters from novels, stuff like that. Very, very light use of the name, but again, this is apparently going to be Emilia Clarke's character's name. We have nothing to link it to. We know of no character in the Star Wars universe of any significance that has the name of Kira that is in the current canon, so it's not like we can say, oh, Kira, so that's going to be, this character that we know from this comic book or this novel. It just seems like she's going to be a brand new character. Her name is Kira, and people are losing their minds trying to link her to Rey, and the new trilogy.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's kind of one of those clickbaiters. Either way you look at it, it's still worth just kind of talking about real quick, because it is, if it all turns out to be true, there is an interesting tie between storyboard Rey name and potentially this character's name being the same. So
Yeah, I mean, but we've seen this on like other sequel movies before, other movies that have had multiple follow-up films. I mean, like, you have something in storyboards that didn't work for one movie, you bring it back in, maybe not the same way that you were going to use it in the first one, but you bring it back in another movie just to like have that little piece of the original storyboarding or the original concept in the film still. So it's possible. It's definitely, and I just think Kira's a pretty cool name. It sounds cool.
yeah, it's not bad. It's kind of anime-ish.
It is. I mean, like, if you've ever watched Death Note, that's the
dude, I've never gotten into anime. I think it's an interesting medium, but it's just nothing I ever got into outside of like Voltron.
Yeah. So, I mean, they have the full anime of Death Note on Netflix, but they also the Death Note movie just dropped today, as today is August 25th for those wondering. I know a lot of people are going to hate on it. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it. Just see how it is. I'm not expecting it to be anything.
Is it like a live action deal?
Yeah, completely live action. Actually, like, Willem Dafoe, you don't know anything about it. Like, Willem Dafoe plays one of the characters.
Is it whitewashed like Ghost in the Shell?
No, not really. One of the main characters is black.
Okay.
Basically, what they did was, the original anime was set in Japan, and then like they remade the story, similar names for the characters and stuff like that, but it's set in Seattle from what I can tell. So they basically took all the Japanese people out of it and replaced it with white people. But one of the main characters is black. I think they have there's also some Japanese characters in it as well. I mean, I'm gonna watch it, give it see how it is. But,
yeah, they're really. I mean, we're way on a tangent now, but July, when I go back and think about it, it had some excellent back-to-back movie releases. And then August is just kind of fucking dried up.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I think that the Hitman's Bodyguard kind of looks funny for some reason.
It does, with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, and Sam
Mace coming back.
Yeah,
but yeah, it looks pretty good. But yeah, we've definitely
all right. Yeah,
tangented here. For all you Star Wars fans,
we're off.
What the fuck are y'all talking about?
We're off the rails, my friends, and that's a sign that this cast needs to come to an end. But it was a good one. I really think the Obi-Wan stuff is interesting. I hope it comes to fruition. Not more so than Vader, but I don't know. Like I said, for some reason I think they're going to hem and haw on that and drag their feet, or Lucas made them sign some sort of deal saying he was off the table just because he wants him to forever be a pussy. But anyways, we really do appreciate those of you listening. We see our numbers going up, and that's excellent. I wish there was a way to kind of get you guys involved, or to give us feedback or stuff you want us to talk about. Because honestly, Nick and I, we could do this multiple times a week, barring some sort of scheduling conflict. That's how much we love talking about Star Wars. Star Wars is life. Star Wars has made us who we are, just like I'm sure it has shaped your life. So we appreciate you. If you're a new listener, you can hit us up on iTunes. You can hit us up on Stitcher, Google Play, Android. We're out there. We even put these episodes up on YouTube. So youtube.com/entertainmentbuddha. iTunes, just search the best podcast for Star Wars fans and pop culture geeks, and you will find us. We talk Game of Thrones too. That's just how we do it. We're a bunch of geeks having a good time, making you better geeks, one podcast at a time. You know what I'm saying? I can rap too. So, all right, brother, you know how we end this. We wish you all a happy Star Wars life. Oh, and don't forget, Force Friday 2, it's really 3, is next Thursday, 12 a.m. Technically Friday, 12 a.m. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get my fat ass up and about and check out some stores. But in the meantime, hold on to your cash. You know there's going to be plenty of Last Jedi licenses and toys and this, that, and other things to buy. I surely will spend mine. And as always, may the Force be with you.